Hey, I'm Alex, and this is my recipe for meatball stuffed garlic bread. Yum! Meatballs are one of my favorite foods. That's why I lived in Sweden, for the meatballs. So you're gonna start with making the meatballs. I did a classic ground beef, no fuss meatball, but if you wanna get a little fancier here, feel free to switch it up. So in making these meatballs, because you need to stuff this into the bread, you wanna make them a little bit smaller than maybe you would usually make a meatball. Some people wonder how you're supposed to get an even cook. I'm using a cast iron pan to get a good sear, which makes it a little tricky, but one tip is to shake your pan and kind of roll them around so that the meatballs roll while they're cooking and get an even sear. But again, this heavy pan, it's not great for rolling, so I just use tongs and kind of flip them around. So once your meatballs are cooked, we're gonna move on to the bread, the second best part. For this bread, I'm using a baguette. So I cut the entire baguette into quarters. So I had 4 pieces of bread. That'll just make it easier for you to be able to stuff each piece evenly. Then you hole out the middle of the bread. Before you even say, why are you wasting the middle of the bread? You don't waste it, you eat it. You eat the middle of the bread because it's arguably the best part. So once the bread is hollowed out, you're going to prepare the stuffing. So I did 2 pieces of mozzarella and then 2 of those little meatballs right on there. And then you're gonna wrap that up in a little cheese blanket. So once your meatballs are all wrapped up, you're gonna stuff that right into the bread cavity. It may be a little tricky to get in there, but just stuff it on it. So then you're gonna transfer all of those pieces of stuffed bread onto a baking sheet. And now I'm gonna brush that, some delicious garlic butter, got some parsley in there, you got some Parmesan, and just take this thing to the next level. So brush that evenly onto the bread. It'll kind of ooze down and get in those crevices. And now it's time to bake. So I wrapped this loaf up in the foil so that it kind of encased everything and made sure it kind of all cooked inside of the foil. Got all steamy and nice and hot in there. And then it's time to serve. So I serve this with marinara. You could serve it with whatever you like. Great party food. Cheese, meatballs, garlic bread. There's nothing better. If you want anything else, let me know. Slide into my DMs.